God to rescue him. So, ladies out there, and the ladies I have on set, I have one who is married. In this week,
and another one who is confused.
In this week, I love the power that you put. Let me spare you. We're on TV.
Wow.
Now,
no, it's okay. You can go ahead, Robert.
This is a word for the ladies there. In this week, understand men. In this week, understand men.
In what context?
You may find some moving while walking, others calculating, and you don't see what they are counting. Others' tempers may be because someone still. Yesterday, I met a father, but I could blame him. I'm sorry to say. This man spends, you people, I couldn't believe, 20 million every school term.
How many kids?
He has quite a number. I looked at the man and he was sharing. Of course, he was caught between. But I just asked him, how did you get to this situation? Of course, he had his excuses. They are not that very varied. You can't have about 20 children, you know. But he has struggled to educate his children and he's succeeding. Now, for a man like that, in such a period, before all children are back to school, he can even lose temper over nothing. So if you're the wife, you must be very calculative. Know what to say, when to say it, understand him. For some issues, leave him. But also, not forgetting that government is having plans to, it has identified 26 local languages in the new education approach. Now, these languages are going to be taught to children in their areas. You know, we have what we call semantic education, where children are before P3, they are studying in their mother tongue or the common language in that area. So now 26 languages have officially been gazetted, so that the children in these areas will be able to study in these languages until they reach P3, then they introduce English to them.
All right, I think that's beautiful. That's a very beautiful
But my challenge is now, if these children have not had English all the way here.
So in P4, they come and they go back to square one.
I guess there's a way around it, given that now English is like the new normal in society.
Yes.
For some reason, a child will pick that English even
so
from
fast.
a neighborhood. From the neighborhood. So I think this is good.
But not for urban centers, but in the villages, I think it's only in northern Uganda. And I don't know the magic there. In northern Uganda, everyone seems to be speaking English.
What happens after P3 for these other languages that have been gazetted? Who are these kids going to practice the language with?
Home.
With who? The parents don't know these languages.
Because the language, the language must be the language spoken.
In the area.
In the area.
Oh,
yes.
okay, that's
so
perfect.
That means if it's central region, if they're taught in
Luganda.
Luganda, they will find that Luganda outside of school, even if it's outside of home. But also looking at a bit of what's in between the Western area of the world as well as the African and the rest of the world. US President Donald Trump announced this morning new tariffs of up to about 41% on goods imported from dozens of countries. Again, citing emergency powers, he says he is using to shrink the country's trade deficits with many of its trade partners as the USA. And a number of countries are listed. Of course, Uganda is in there. Well, looking at Afghanistan, it's at 15%, Algeria 30%, Angola 15%. Most African countries, I take note that they are at 15%, inclusive of Uganda. And Bosnia and Herzegovina are at 30%, Brazil at 10%, and Brunei 25%, Cambodia 19%. Most African countries 15%. Falkland Islands 10%, Fiji 15%, and really Moldova 25%, Myanmar in Burma 40%. South Africa, though, is at 30%, and Serbia 35%, Syria 41%, Taiwan at 20%, Vietnam at 20%, and the rest of Africa. The United Kingdom is at 10%.
How long is Donald Trump? This is his final term, not so?
Yes, this is his final term. He cannot stand.
I don't know how long he's left with, but one thing, as he tries to make America great again and American for the Americans, he should remember that many Africans
Have made America.
Yeah.
That's true. Now, a public notice to take note of that is from NERA. Restrictions on public access to NERA head office, Kololo, on Thursday, 18th September, which is today. The management of the National Identification and Registration Authority informs the general public that the Kololo ceremonial grounds will be on Thursday, 18th September, be the venue for a state function. Access to their grounds will therefore be restricted to the public. Consequently, all NERA's clients facing services offered at Kololo offices are to be temporarily shifted to the NERA offices in the 5 divisions of Kampala to allow for smooth preparations and management of the event. Clients can also access some of the NERA services online at www.nera.go.ug and www.marriages.nera.go.ug. And some of the services available online include track status of national ID, confirmation of information letters, confirmation of NIN verification of documents, filling of marriage returns, application for civil marriages, procedures for application of civil marriages, place of worship to celebrate marriages, special license venue, and for marital status letter. Also, normal service to the public at NERA head office will resume on Friday, 19th September 2025, and all other NERA offices, including parish mobile registration points across the country, shall continue to operate normally. The management regrets all inconveniences caused. And on that note, at about 21 minutes on to 7 p.m., let's take a look at what we have on the local scene. Roberts.
We'll begin with government has reiterated its commitment to addressing the salary disparities between arts and science teachers, following a nationwide strike that has disrupted learning across the country. While addressing Parliament, State Minister for Primary Education, Joyce Kaduku, highlighted that efforts are underway to resolve the issue through ongoing dialogue and that a more equitable pay structure is expected in the coming financial year. For the past few weeks, teachers across the country have drowned their tools, citing government silence over long-standing salary concerns. This industrial action began just as schools opened for the 3rd term, raising concern over the impact on students' academic progress. Opposition members have also weighed in, with the leader of opposition, Joe Senyonyi, calling for urgent government intervention. State Minister for Primary Education, Kaduchu, emphasized that constructive negotiations with responsible stakeholders are currently in progress, and the government is optimistic about finding a lasting solution. Meanwhile, leader of opposition, Joe Senyonyi, further tasked government, especially security agencies, to respect Article 23 of the Constitution by desisting from abductions of Ugandan citizens. The Uganda Local Government Workers Union has expressed dissatisfaction over government's failure to comply with the 2019 Collective Bargaining Agreement CBA between government and the public labor unions, which among others provides for first salary enhancement across all cadres, which has been abused and neglected. The union's General Secretary Hassan Mudiba cited how industrial action by the teachers remains the only viable option left for government workers for immediate response. The Uganda Local Government Workers Union is a recognized public service labor union that represents the interests of local government workers across the country. The union's Hassan Mudiba, General Secretary, announced how the teachers' industrial action still stands. The Uganda Local Government Workers Union said government up to date has failed to comply with the 2018 Collective Bargaining Agreement. The agreement seeks to provide salary enhancement across all cadres. According to the union, after several interventions, government only enhanced salaries of science teachers, which to them contradicts with government's agreement. The union demands government immediate response into this industrial action and work on the internal mechanisms provided for in the Act to ensure they are functioning. The Swedish government has committed to extend development assistance to Uganda worth 150 million US dollars, approximately 540 billion shillings for the next 5 years. The Swedish ambassador to Uganda, Mariam Hakazins, made this revelation in a meeting with the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robin Anabanja, at her office in Kampala. Sweden has a long-standing bilateral relationship with Uganda and in the development of this country in a number of sectors of this economy. Now, Sweden has announced a new development plan to support Uganda in the next 5 years. The Prime Minister thanked the Swedish government for continued support extended to Uganda. Nabanja appealed to the Swedish government to extend more support for the refugees in Uganda following the dwindling support from the developing partners. The ambassador of Sweden also informed the Prime Minister that her country is in the advanced stages to finance the construction of the standard gauge railway in Uganda. She also revealed that plans are underway for Sweden to finance the construction of a power transmission line from Karuma to Tororo. Ending the local stories this morning, a section of Uganda Law Society members have notified the Uganda Law Society's Council of the fast approaching expiry of the term of office, inviting it to vacate office before the 27th of this month without fail. Speaking on behalf of the team, Timothy Tumukunde cited concerns pertaining to the running of the Society's affairs, characterized by controversies that have for some time pitted the Society in the sector. This comes hours to the much anticipated annual general meeting on September 18th, 2025, which is in the Rule of Law Week being celebrated by the legal fraternity. Now that brings us to the end of our local stories this morning.
Right, thank you very much, Robert. And I do apologize, I did say 7 p.m. Well, actually it's 7 a.m. My mind got stuck to the fact that we're in the evening, but it's a morning here in Uganda, East African time. And now it's about 15 minutes, 6:45 a.m. Good morning, Uganda. Let us allow John take us through the global scene. John.
Okay, and from the international news, it is really wild. Hundreds of exotic animals rescued in Brazil's biggest counter-trafficking operation. Now, Brazilian police detained at least 45 people and rescued around 700 exotic animals in a major wildlife trafficking raid on Tuesday in Rio de Janeiro. Toucans, macaws, turtles, monkeys, and snakes were among the hundreds of rescued animals who were taken to a specialized facility to receive expert care. Over 1,000 police officers participated in the raid across Rio de Janeiro and other states. The burst followed a year-long investigation into Brazil's biggest wildlife trafficking ring. According to police sources, it was the biggest ever operation against wildlife trafficking in Brazil, the most biodiverse nation of the world. Yes, it ends up being a great victory for society, as these animals from the wild have ended up being rescued and, God willing, returned to the wild, said Lieutenant Murillo, CRMV inspector at Civil Police. The gang has reportedly operated for decades, with some members responsible for the hunting of wild animals, while others transported them to urban centers for sale. Did Trump break royal protocol again? US President walks in front of King after similar incident with late Queen. Donald Trump and First Lady Melania were welcomed by the Prince and Princess of Wales, William and Catherine, on arrival at Windsor Castle by helicopter on Wednesday as the second state visit continued. However, footage shows him appearing breaking protocol twice, touching both Prince William and King Charles on the opposite arm after shaking hands. The second of these is not shown due to the positioning of Prince William in the shot. Guidelines suggest that the only touching allowed is a handshake in the usual way. According to media reports, Trump also told Catherine, "You are so beautiful." So, later, it's a bit interesting. Later, Trump was seen inspecting the household division with King Charles walking behind. Convention dictates that one would walk behind the monarch. On his first state visit, Trump was also criticized for walking in front of the late Queen Elizabeth II. The visit sees the UK government in crisis mode, with the sacking of UK ambassador to the US, Peter Mandelson, over his links to pedophile billionaire Jeffrey Epstein, and rose over the state of UK free speech, immigration, and massive protests against Trump's visit. Coming back to the continent of Africa, it's really absurd. Gunmen killed 22 after shooting at baptism ceremony in Niger. Gunmen on motorbikes have shot dead 22 people, most of whom were attending a baptism ceremony in an attack on a village in western Niger, reports say. A resident told the French news agency AFP that 15 people were killed at the ceremony in Taliberi region, which borders Mali and Burkina Faso, before moving elsewhere and killing 7 others. While people celebrated a baptism ceremony, gunmen opened fire, sowing death and terror, local civil rights activist Michael Zodi said on social media. Niger's military government has struggled to contain jihadist violence in the region, carried out by groups linked to Al-Qaeda and Islamic State. The FP news agency also cited local media outlet El Mestro TV as reporting a gruesome death toll of 22 innocent people cowardly killed without reason or justification. Niger's authorities have confirmed there was an attack in the area, but have not given any casualty figures. Now, that was it from the global coverage.
Right, thank you very much, John. And Trump is always a very interesting figure. I watched.
Really?
I watched the event of his visit yesterday, on arrival, and it was painful. The whole time I was like,
oh my God, you were tensed more than even the British people.
Because, well, touching might be because of mannerism, human mannerism. But the obvious is usually when someone hosts you, you allow them guide you because they know the place. It's just obvious, right? But Trump was in front of King Charles.
So it was more or less like,
he was guiding
your hand, Robert.
Charles.
Oh, how are you? How are you? To the king.
Reminds me of one mayor we once had in Kampala.
Okay.
The late Nasante Geseraga.
Oh, wow.
He's a man who liked showbiz, you know? And he liked taking moments. I remember he liked those moments. So Trump, having come from a bit of the showbiz world as well, he likes taking those moments, and in loving moments you end up making mistakes.
Oh, well, sometimes perhaps it's intentional.
But Julie,
when it comes to showbiz, no publicity is negative. That's the rule. Let's have a look at what we have on the press scene, and we're starting off with the new vision, details of new government structure. This is where directors, the position of director is going to be scrapped off. Now, move expected to improve turnaround time in decision making. Also in a picture there of the new vision, Muhoozi in China for high-level military engagement. Still in the new vision, Museveni welcomes 3 new ambassadors and asks URA Commissioner General, why is jet fuel taxed? Also, why CA delegates rejected a state religion. And parties meet to discuss iPod funding, NUP not invited. It's still in the new vision, 150 tenders, over 150 tender opportunities in there. So make sure that you get yourself an opportunity looking at All Saints Cathedral, Living Water International Ministry of Education, AVSI, UNOC, UETCL, Ministry of Finance, Uganda Railway Corporation, all opportunities in there. So get yourself a copy and see what you can grab for yourself. Looking at the Daily Monitor, the headline there is URA tightens news on churches and NGOs. Oz. The auditors say churches and NGOs are mandated to collect and remit pay-as-you-earn, NSSF, and withdrawing tax to URA, but do not and use that money, accumulate penalties and divert funds meant for donor projects to offset the crisis.
Give what belongs to Caesar.
Right, that's true.
No, but is church a business? Is it a money-making scheme? Does it have profit for URA to tax it?
Well, the Bible says give Caesar what belongs to Caesar and give God what belongs to God. So pay your taxes. Vehicles of 2026 polls arrive at the Electoral Commission. Also concerned over rampant child marriages in Nakapiripirit. And primary schools to teach in local languages. And the lizard comes. Don't they respect the men of God? That is a question from the lizard. But also still in the Daily Monitor, 11 years of government promises to deal with teachers' salary enhancement demands. Now let's cross over to the rest of East Africa and we take a trip to Tanzania, and that is the Citizen. Samia's peace message ahead of general election. And also in there is Zanzibar targets regional trade gateway status. Also how Tanzania can give its STEM drive fresh impetus. And official launch of the sale of the Stawi bond. Also still in the Citizen, LATRA rolls out vehicle tracking for commuter buses. Now let's have a look at what we have in the Daily Nation. Queens of the track, that is Kenyans making records and breaking them at the World Athletics Championships in Japan. Also in there is autobiography story of Francis Okello, and that matters transport, Mombasa's commuter rail link to SGR, and Kenyan generation targets 1,500 megawatts extra power under 10-year 555 billion shillings mega plan, and cabinet secretaries on early campaign trail. And that wraps it up for what we have in the dailies today. It's Good Morning Uganda. As the team, we're here very excited to start the tail end of the week with you. For now, enjoy some music as we take a short break. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in
18th day of September 2025. My name is Julie F. Nantaba, and we come to you live from Nile Avenue on UBC TV, always here to inspire you. And given that it's a Throwback Thursday, I will start by asking my colleagues here what throwback memories come back to them when it comes to throwback moments such as this. I will start with Joan. Good morning, Joan.
Good morning, Julie. How are you?
Girl,
How was your night?
It was beautiful.
Oh, I like the green.
Thank you.
I must be looking good.
Thank you.
The green, the blazer, her blazer.
He's asking what shade of green is this?
I think that is dark green.
You're in the same class, continue.
Roba, you can't say that this early morning.
Anyways, John,
Yes.
on a Throwback Thursday such as this one, what memories come to your mind growing up?
You'll be surprised, Julie, that I don't remember most of my childhood memories.
Are you the last born?
Second last.
Okay.
But I don't remember because I grew up from, by the way, a strict family.
Right.
I just go to school, from school, go home, then go to church, come back home. So you'll find that I'm not the person who will be visiting people all the time, or like I'm an introvert mainly since childhood. So maybe the memories I can talk about are just school memories.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. The nicknames you had for teachers. Robert, how about you?
Oh my gosh.
Now, when this is a time when children have just gone back to school,
Right.
and others are still home. Now, for me, this was a time when you've just arrived at school, and you're looking at what you've brought with you.
Right.
Some of the things you've not come with, others you've come with. It was a time sometimes to appreciate your parents, you know. So as I throw back to those memories, I feel if my dad was near me today, I would give a pat on the shoulder and say, Daddy, thank you.
Right.
Because always I had whatever I needed.
You needed, yeah.
and there is no day that I would delay to go back to school. I don't know how he would make ends meet, but now I remember why sometimes he would sit on the veranda alone, silent, and you find him holding his cheek or singing songs you don't understand, but of course they
Joko, I thought I was one of your friends.
You are,
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief, and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government, designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
The government's core mandate is to maintain law and order, safeguard citizens' rights, and provide essential public services.
Remember, one of the pillars of the roadmap is innovation and entrepreneurship.
There has been this question of our indigenous seed.
There's going to be a toll project that answers somebody's question.
The front bench has brought you insightful discussions on governance, security, healthcare, justice, and commerce.
Why do you go through this complicated procedure, involve the lawyers? You bring the case against him, the judge will hear you out and pass judgment, and you're out of court in record time.
We remain committed to keeping you informed and engaged on key national matters.
So these are huge, these are powerful organizations which now Uganda chairs. Why don't you come together?
If we haven't migrated to the e-card because of various reasons, including that not all the people of Uganda have smartphones.
You can sit in your house.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
worship and prayer to God. Now I understand that there were those hard times where he would want to be alone and just pray or speak to God to rescue him. So ladies out there, and the ladies I have on set, I have one who is married. In this week,
and another one who is confused.
In this week, I love the power that you put, let me spare you, we're on TV.
Wow.
Now,
no, it's okay. You can go ahead, Robert.
This is a word for the ladies there. In this week, understand men. In this week, understand men.
In what context?
You may find some moving while walking, others calculating, and you don't see what they are counting. Others tempers may be because someone still, yesterday I met a father, though I could blame him, I'm sorry to say. This man spends, you people, I couldn't believe, 20 million every school term.
How many kids?
He has quite a number. I looked at the man and he was sharing. Of course, he was caught between, but I just asked him, how did you get to this situation? Of course, he had his excuses. They are not that very valid. You can't have about 20 children, you know. But he has struggled to educate his children and he's succeeding. Now, for a man like that, in such a period, before all children are back to school, he can even lose temper over nothing. So if you're the wife, you must be very calculative.
Invites corporators and the general public to the National Cooperative Conference 2025 on Thursday, 18th September at Kololo National Celebration Grounds to celebrate our achievements to date. The conference will be graced by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, as chief guest. The highlight will be the launch of the National Cooperative Savings and Credit Society Limited, a precursor to the National Cooperative Bank. Come one, come all.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules, plant extract extract, scientific ratio, take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day, don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. You are watching UBC TV. My name is Julie F. Nantaba, and we come to you live from Nile Avenue. At this point in time, we are looking at the Youth and Entrepreneurs League elections and the voting of youth parliamentary flag bearers, which elections are taking place today, the 18th of September 2025, in all districts across the country. And the usual suspect to always have these conversations with us and make the perfect picture for us is Honorable Richard Tudong, who is the Secretary General of the NRM party. Join the conversation 0709-602-592. I am with Robert Turabo Nyonyitono to engage the Honorable on this matter. Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning, Julian. Good morning, Robert.
Always an honor having you.
Thank you.
Right, let's start with today's elections, and of course we'll a little later on look at the most interesting subject of dealing with independence in the NRM as by the letter that you gave as a directive. But for now, let's start with what is happening today, and that is today's events. To someone who's probably not been as active to engage with current politics, but they're trying to catch up, do explain to them what the main objective of the Youth and Entrepreneurs League elections scheduled for today is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, and good morning, viewers, good morning, listeners. Once again, we bring you greetings from the National Resistance Movement Party. We are a party that works for the people and is interested in making sure that Uganda is stable and consistently peaceful. About the election we're going to have today, which is for the Youth League of the party and the Entrepreneurs League, this election was supposed to have been held on the 28th of August last month. That was the day we had the delegates conference where we elected all other top leadership of the party. We confirmed the national chairman of the party, we confirmed the presidential flag bearer, we elected SEC members, we elected all other leagues, including People with Disabilities League, Women's League, Veterans League, Elders League, Historical League, all those other leagues. That is how the party is structured. Now, this election started from the villages, from the grassroots. By the time we were doing our internal structure elections, we started electing from all the villages of Uganda coming up. It's a pyramid election. Now, we reached the national level. That is where now we elect national leaders of all these groups. During the time we were electing, during the delegates conference, there were confusion in the elections of the Youth League and election of the Entrepreneurs League. So those two elections were postponed. And there was a tribunal that sat to review the petitions that were put before the tribunal regarding the elections of which took place in the Youth League especially. And for the Entrepreneurs League, we did not conduct elections because there was also a petition against some candidates in the Entrepreneurs League. So all these matters were put before a tribunal, and therefore their elections then were adjourned until today that it was set to be held. Now, when the Central Executive Committee met, SEC decided that because of time and because of logistical issues, these elections should now be conducted at a district level because all our delegates come from districts. So today they are gathering at their district head offices to conduct elections of their structure members who were not elected during the delegates conference. For the youth in particular, they are going to elect youth national leaders within the league. These are the national chairperson, and then there's the national secretaries, and then secretary to finance, and there's a regional vice chairpersons for the youth leagues. And for the youth again, they're going to elect members of parliament, flag bearers. You know, the law requires that we have to sponsor flag bearers as parties in all the regions, and then for one national for the female. So they're also going to elect the regional representatives for the youth, for MP seats, and also for the female national youth. They're also going to elect who should hold the party flag. So these are the elections that are going to take place in the district today for the youth. Now for the entrepreneurs, they're going to elect, because also entrepreneurial structures are in all the districts. There were mediations that were conducted by the national chairman, and they agreed on the position of the chairman of the Entrepreneurs League. So they are going to elect the other positions within the Entrepreneurs League, which were not negotiated for and agreed on. And so these are positions that are already within their group. They're going to elect regional vice chairpersons of the Entrepreneurs League, and then they're going to elect secretary finance, then the general secretary, and then the other positions that are within the league. So these are the elections that are taking place today in all the districts of Uganda for the Entrepreneurs League and the Youth League of the party.
Now, Honorable, you've just come from party primaries up to the level of what we saw at the National Delegates Conference in Nambole. Now, what lessons have you picked through this time that maybe we may avoid them in these elections, no wonder these are going to be based at districts? What are those lessons?
The positive, I start with the positive.
Please.
Of course, they are both positive and negative. One of the critical lessons is that there is no party in Uganda apart from NRM that can sponsor activities or can have candidates from the village up to the national level. In all positions, in all districts, in all sub-counties, villages, parishes, and municipalities, city divisions. And so that is how big the party is, and that is how massive NRM is. You ask all these political parties in the country, the one that call themselves political parties, how many candidates can they have in a particular election? Some of them cannot even have candidates in 2 districts consecutively. You find they having one MP in this constituency, one SC5 chairman in the other one councillor in the other one. So they are scattered, and that is why they always think of having a coalition to match NRM. So that is one advantage, that the party has structures up to the village, and therefore we have people who want to contest in the party, and that is why we have our elections through lining up and through competition. We don't unpick candidates. Everybody who likes to compete must go through the primaries and must be elected through lining up, and that is how open our system is. Now, of course, the other part, which is not really negative, which is a bit of a challenge, is that we spread so wide, and then you have 72,000 villages which are polling stations in NRM when we are doing, for example, structure elections at the village. Now, these 72,000 villages, if you compare with the National Electoral Commission, which I'm sure has less than 40,000 polling stations, you find NRM has more polling stations than National Electoral Commission. And yet the National Electoral Commission is much more facilitated and funded than the party. And so that tells you the challenge we have in conducting and maintaining a discipline within the party structure elections, because we spread so thin, and then of course we are open to abuses and manipulation along the way by people who could have money and influence in some of these areas.
Right, thank you very much, Honorable. And still staying with the matter of lessons learned, let's just focus on today's elections with all that has happened with the primaries, the delegates conference. How have you prepared for today's elections that a different result shall be seen away from what has been seen as the story with
We are prepared. Senior leaders have already moved to the districts. The whole of last night, people are moving. By this morning, they have checked, they have already arrived in the district. The program starts this morning. We expect that the delegates will gather at their various district head offices at 10 in the morning. There will be a roll call. They will check the list for the delegates. We only expect rightful delegates to participate in these activities. We have written to security to provide security, especially Uganda police, to provide security within the areas where elections are going to take place. The area is going to be cordoned off, and then roll call will be made, and names of delegates will be read before activity. So they go in the polling area and they vote as they are being guided to vote for positions. Each and every position, they line up, they count, they write. They line up, they count, they write. As simple as that. And we expect that this exercise should end by 2 in the afternoon. We are not going to open it for the whole day. With the lining up, you need to limit the time because we cannot allow people to line up the whole day. So the districts will be busy between 10 to about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then that will be the end of the exercise. So the Electoral Commission members have moved to the countryside. There is going to be a central tally center where results from the districts are going to be sent to Kampala at the head office of the Electoral Commission of the party, and they will be declared from the center. And we have been very strict that results must be declared in the open before everybody, so that everybody knows who has won in a particular election in a particular district.
Right. And what if some of the polling stations do not, rather have a low voter turnout, or the electorate come in late? Shall there be an excuse for a particular polling station to have time extended for them?
No, there will be, with the rules, you don't adjust because of individuals' failures. Once the rule is set, by 10 we expect everybody to be at the polling station and everybody to be organized, and then the registrars will read the names of the delegates, and they'll start the process. And so if a delegate comes maybe late after 10 with some few minutes and the exercise is on, he or she will be allowed to enter and participate in the others that will be going on.
Now,
so the whole day between 10 and midday, between 10 and 2, we shall be having the activities of elections.
Honorable, now let's go to the document that has sparked, how should I call it, rage or something like that, and at the same time excitement to those that are now official flag bearers. It is titled Guidance on NRM Party Structure, Leaders Nominated as Independents for Elective Positions in the 2025-2026 General Elections. Here you come hard on independence. People asking, why now?
The party constitution, in particular Schedule 4 of the constitution, under rules of procedures, is very clear about this that I've written about. You are not supposed to campaign against a party flag bearer. You are not supposed to use false words or languages against a party flag bearer. You are not supposed to work with another political party against a party flag bearer. So these rules are in the constitution of the party. I was just re-emphasizing what is in the constitution of the party. 2, for discipline purposes, once we participate and we conduct our internal structure elections and a flag bearer is elected, whether you support that flag bearer or not, by the rules of the game, you must now support that flag bearer, because the positions are not tied to individuals. The position is a party position. It is the flag that we are struggling for. So the flag has been given to somebody, and that person represents the party. He is not representing himself or herself. So people should detach their personal feelings from this matter. This is a party issue. It's an organizational matter which does not allow an individual to personalize it. Now, personalization of office is what is bringing this level of indiscipline. That it is either me or nobody. It is not about you, it is about the party. And that is what I was emphasizing that. Now, if you are a leader of the party in a structure, for example, you are a chairman of the party of a district, we are going to conduct our campaigns through the party offices at the district. And here you are an independent campaigning against a party flag bearer. How shall we relate with you in that office? It will be difficult. So we are asking, if you are that person, step aside from the office, let somebody who is neutral, like your vice, comes and takes over the office, and we conduct our campaigns as you go independent. The party will decide whether to summon you for disciplinary measure, but because also under multi-party political dispensation, the moment you step aside and become an independent candidate, it would appear as if you are no longer a member of that particular party you belong to. You get it? So if you win, imagine you win, that means you have to come back and sign memorandum of cooperation with the party. So you are coming back in the party as somebody who is independent to sign an MOU to work with the party. What kind of logic is that? So we want to cut it short to make it easy that we restrain, we streamline discipline, and we streamline. We know not everybody must have to support anybody anyway. That is why there is internal competition. And this internal competition puts our members against each other. And so if we keep saying, if my term does not win, we need to oppose the term that has won, then we shall not build a party.
Now,
building a party means we have to, it's a give and take.
Honorable, now this comes as a background that you have people who are aggrieved, people who believe that, well, they didn't lose fairly. Let me just quote an example of Remiyaga, where I have Honorable Theodore Sechikubo, and he's one of the people I saw being interviewed over this document that you penned signature or you wrote. And he's saying, now, if I lost unfairly, why don't I stand against? Or if I felt I was cheated, if someone I feel the party has not done justice and I'm looking for justice, why can't I support another candidate? These are grieved.
How sure are you that he's right and we are wrong? How sure are you that he is right and we are wrong? Or what he's saying is the correct thing and what we are saying is wrong? Yes, elections were conducted. There were complaints. The national chairman directed a formation of a tribunal. This tribunal was independent from the party leadership. The tribunal are people who are not even, we don't even know whether they are members of our party anyway, because these are people who are brought from their professional background. They are lawyers. Now, personally, I have not even known where their offices are because I never wanted to go there so that I'm accused of influence federally. They were independent to go through the petitions. They went through all the petitions. In some areas, they have conducted repeats of elections. You remember there are villages that we repeated elections in. There are areas where they cancel results of candidates and announce those who rightfully won. There are areas where they have sent further investigations. So if there was an independent tribunal that went through all this that we are complaining about and then made its ruling, why are you again disputing that and saying, no, it should have been me? That is where the problem is. That personalization of positions is what will be very wrong for NRM, and that is what we don't want.
Right. As we begin the tail end of this conversation, Honorable, a few comments are coming through. And the first is, good morning, Team UBC. Thank you for the program. I wish our youth a nice election. NRM, thank you for always not giving up. And someone else comes through and says, good morning, Julie and Robert. I'd like to ask Mr. Todwong that how transparent are these elections going to be? Because because of the fact that youth contributes 70% of our population, their numbers are good determinants of our country's next move. But if elections held involve rigging, bribery and chaos, then what kind of leaders are we grooming and nurturing? This is Cricket Derek Gagamel from Machindie Loafu. Honorable, over to you.
Thank you, Derek. That's a very good question, and thank you for asking that question. Yes, the importance of the youth is why we are repeating these elections, and we are taking it as a personal issue for the party, and we have taken it up and taken it to the district level. Two, yes, we know that at the district level, screening the delegates will be much easier because these members of the districts, they know each other. They know who is a delegate from which sub-county, who is a delegate who was elected at the district level. So it's easier for the young people to identify themselves and to confirm. One of the things that caused us problem at Kololo was the candidates were disputing some delegates. They were saying they are fake. They are not people who were elected in the youth league. They are people who just came from nowhere to become youth delegates. So they were demanding that we should do a roll call district by district. Now, this election that has gone to the district is going to solve that matter. That every person who claims to be a youth leader will be identified by the district leader where he or she comes from, and they are known to each other. And that will make the election much easier. And to me, that is the best way of making sure the election is transparent. Two, the counting, when there were many in one center, it was difficult, and the lines were not well clear. Now, and they were voting either at regional level, they were voting together, and then anybody would come to the line anyway, because if you're in front, the line is too long, you don't know who is behind and who is on which line. So this one, there are fewer. You might find in the district there are about 60 delegates, 30 delegates, 40 delegates. It's easier now to count and cross-check the details of everybody. So it is going to be much more transparent and in the open, in the district where all these youth are known by everybody. So that is how it's going to be better than what was in the center.
Right. Robert, please go ahead. Please
now,
go ahead.
Honorable, how far has the Committee of Eminent Persons gone to ensure that, of course, they are wounded people, that somehow you try to bring them back? Because some time back you had hinted on this committee, I think led by Haj Moses Chigongo.
Yes, the committee is on. It's been working quietly. They have reached out to so many areas and districts. The national vice chairman of the party is heading that committee and is moving on so well. We are grateful that many people are reconciling and many are appreciating that they are being talked to, and they have since reconciled with the people that they were feeling aggrieved with. And that is how we build a party. And I really need to congratulate them. The committee is still continuing to work, especially before the nomination of members of parliament. I'm sure they would have concluded most of the areas where there are a lot of complaints.
All right.
In other districts, there are no complaints, but in others, there are still complaints. So they are focusing at those with complaints and addressing them.
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Richard Todwong. This conversation has to come to a close, but perhaps close it with this, with today's elections that shall be for queuing behind a candidate. Are there measures or safeguards in place to ensure that voter counting is as it's supposed to be, that it's from 1 to 2 to 3 in that order, as opposed from 1 to 4 and then to 6?
Sorry for laughing. Well, we have invited all stakeholders at the district level, the executives of the party at the district. We have also requested the security organs to come and help us. We have also requested observers to be there, and I don't think counting number 1 to number 40 or 50 will be a problem to anybody, because these are things which are simple. And I think counting will be very easy. And everybody, all the candidates were asked to nominate agents from among the delegates. So they will be there, the agents will be there to cross-check that the numbers have been counted well. And our members of the party, the senior leaders of the party will be there at the site to make sure that everybody is... Julie, before I close, I also need to remind members and the public that today, again, is a beautiful day, because the National Resistance Movement Party, which is the chairperson of IPOD is the Inter-Party Coalition for Dialogue, is having its summit. The summit will be at Kololo today at 2 p.m., where political parties under IPOD will come together and have a conversation about the future of this country. So it's a good move that we are building maturity in democracy, that for the first time in history of this country, parties that fight each other are coming together to start continue to dialogue with one another to make sure that Uganda is peaceful, even if we compete against each other. So this is a beautiful thing that I thought I should communicate.
All right,
and thank you so much. I wish you all the best.
Right.
God bless you.
God bless you too. That is the Secretary General of the NRM Party, Honorable Richard Todwong, who's been speaking with us, especially in light of the Youth and Entrepreneurs League elections taking place today, as well as the voting of youth parliamentary flag bearers taking place today in all districts in Uganda. Thank you so much for being on the show. Up next is JMU Tourism Express. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, This is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
He expected me to die like within the first 2 years.
Out of the blue, the child will get pains, especially in the wrists. And this happens commonly when children are starting to walk.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby dondolo.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks, Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
My friend Baka was found to be positive for Mpox at his old age. He needs our prayers. By the way, Timo, did you know that Mpox-related deaths occur among people with underlying conditions like HIV/AIDS, diabetes, malnutrition, and other old age-related illnesses?
Of late, I've not been following Mpox issues. I thought it wasn't that serious. So, are you saying that as long as one has any underlying condition and feels unwell, just run to the hospital?
Yes! You do not have to wait. If you have any of the signs and symptoms like a body rash, a fever, headache, and body weakness, visit your nearest health facility immediately. We do not have to take any chances, my brother.
We need to immediately inform our peers in the club to be careful.
You see, with Mpox, the magic is in getting treatment early. Those who have suffered severe disease, they wasted a lot of time either treating themselves or ignoring the disease.
Save your life. Seek treatment early. Only from professional health workers whenever you feel unwell. For more information about Mpox, call the Ministry of Health toll-free line on 0800 1066 or send a free SMS to your report on 8500. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health Uganda with support from UNICEF, WHO, and its partners.
Ready to transform your commutes? Embrace a greener, more affordable way to travel and promise of agile entrepreneurship with e-mobility. The future is here. E-mobility is tackling today's most daunting challenges. See it in action at the National E-Mobility Expo 2025, September 18th to 19th at the Kira Vehicle Plant in Jinja. Head to our digital channels and follow the link www.neme.kiramotors.com to register.
Revered as the patrons of the wild, my horn stood tall, announcing my presence among Africa's Big Five. Yet, with all my strength, I struggled to survive. Then Uganda Wildlife Authority gave us something, a safe home at the Ziwa Rhino Sanctuary. And here we begin to thrive again. Today, we are 48 members strong, with 17 cows, ready to take our unique story into the future. This is your lifetime opportunity to name a rhino, and with it, find the conservation efforts that keep our story alive. For more information, visit our website, www.ugandawildlifeauthority.org.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Welcome back from the newsreel, and thank you for joining us once again on UBC. We are on Good Morning Uganda Tourism Express. My name is Zakia Laki. If you're not excited about what's happening in the tourism industry, there's so many activities. You just watched about the 17 rhinos that are being named, and guess what? We are left with just 5. You could be the next person to name all the left 5 rhinos. And the World Tourism Day is also around the corner. Make it a point to go and experience it all the way in the West Nile region. Well, bringing you back with me is Mr. Senyonyi Derek. When you hear about this name, obviously, what comes to my mind first is Njagala vibe, Njagala vibe. But today, he is the multifaceted visual artist. You're going to hear about him, and we'll be talking about tourism and charity. Good morning, Derek.
Good morning, Lucky.
How are you?
I'm very good, very happy to be here.
Happy to have you this morning.
How is it going?
Very well, very well,
good,
thank
yeah.
you. Yes, well done on the 28th celebrations of your birthday.
Thank you, thank you. I feel like I'm getting old.
28 is not old.
It is. Trust me, if you're turning it for the first time, you're like, oh my God, I'm getting old. But yeah, I'm excited, and thank you for the birthday wishes. Yeah.
Thank you. You did so well on your birthday, and when we talk about tourism and charity, what's the inspiration? Anyone in tourism would have done it in a traditional more celebration, but you did go in for charity. What was the inspiration behind that?
I think there's been a change of focus in me, especially the more I've grown. Those of you that must have watched me for the last 3-4 years, you know that Derek, like. Yeah. But I've seen a super huge change in me when I turned 28. That I would love to change the focus from me for some time to focus a little bit on the things outside me. So I wanted to see how can I use my celebration as an advocacy for kids, an advocacy for vulnerable communities, and I think that's possible. So I'm excited that we are turning 28 and we are using this birthday as something big and better. Yeah.
And how did you spot out the Katanga children to be part of the beneficiaries from your celebrations in this initiative?
Yeah, so to those of you that don't know, I am Derek Senyi, first of all, and I am a wildlife photographer, I'm a storyteller, I'm an influencer. To wrap it up and put it in one circle, I can say that I'm a multifaceted visual artist, or someone who does a lot of work in multimedia. So to answer Lucky's question, I have walked these streets, especially in Katanga. I have worked in these areas, and I have seen the need of the children. And I think that with even a slight difference like this that we see in our community, a slight difference like this would make a ripple effect in these communities, in this community of Katanga. So I am organizing a charity as a birthday outreach to fundraise for mattresses. And the reason why I spotted out Katanga is because it is very near here in between us, in between Makerere and in between Mulago. Very near here, Kampala. That means I don't have to travel far distances to do charity. I can just do it right here to make a change here in our small community here in Kampala. Yeah.
Talking about that, in what ways do you see the initiatives like that being linked to Uganda's tourism sector?
First of all, tourism is not about landscapes and landscapes and beautiful wildlife and the amazing gorillas that we have. No, tourism misses the point if you skip out the human element. And charities and communities like this, especially vulnerable communities like this, or settlements like this, I would say that if you link the two, especially when we are getting tourists to come and do the activities themselves and stay in the Katanga themselves, they get a chance to appreciate more the country because they have seen some of the vulnerable communities. They have seen our wildlife. They have connected human to human. I don't agree with someone coming here and then they just go to the safari and then they come out, they fly out. No, we need to give them memories, and this is something that is easily brought by human element. So I think the two link up together, the two work together. This is charity and this is undeveloped communities or communities that are underprivileged, and then tourism. You merge the two, you're creating out inspiration out of the kids in the Katanga itself. You're creating brand ambassadors, those people that come and visit those communities. They go back and talk about our country because of that memory and that closeness they got when they visited the community. Some of these people have a lot that they don't know that there are people that don't. You understand? So we bring them here to show them that, hey, this is a different perspective of life. Maybe it gives them gratitude and appreciation of what they have.
Yeah. Having mentioned that, that means when you went in for the charity, you did talk about tourism. You did educate them a little bit about the country. Yeah.
So we have a part of mentorship where we are teaching them about storytelling and content creation. The goal is mainly to bring out so that these kids can create jobs for themselves. I am one of the few people in this country that uses a phone as my job. So I think if we get people that tell stories from these communities, that is already job creation. So I want to show them with my team, to show them what they can do, how they can do it, which platforms, and how can they use these platforms that have been created right now to change their lives. And the goal is to see that at least we get a number of storytellers, filmmakers, photographers out of that community. Yeah.
And a number of creatives, indeed, like you did mention. Yeah, so when we go back to the tourism bodies, what bodies have given you the support in regards to supporting Operation Sleep Well?
Yeah, so Operation Sleep Well, right now we are in conversations with different brands, the tourism brands, the tour operators, the tour guides, especially people that can either provide information. Some of them are supporting directly, some of them are supporting indirectly, but I'm very sure before the end of this week we shall announce which bodies are joining in, which bodies we are going to be working with, because it's 2 weeks from now, it is 4th October, so we are going to have more bodies joining, and I expect more hotels that I've worked with, that have supported me in my storytelling journey, to join in, and we support the young kids in Katanga.
So in that way, how do you envision tourists participating in activities like this whenever they visit?
Yeah, so first of all, tourists can volunteer a day and stay a day there, because those programs are there where someone can come and they volunteer and they stay in the community. They help into like how the kids grow and all that. So the first thing is volunteership. 2, someone can buy or they can send scholastic materials, because these are communities that are underprivileged, where things like scholastic materials, blankets and mattresses and those small things someone needs to grow up. Either they can buy directly or they can donate, so that we are able to get those items. But the main thing is volunteering and making sure that you come and spend a day there, so that you don't miss out that human element of our country. Yeah.
And do you have any plans to integrate culture within this aspect?
Yeah. So let me tell you, the kids are there practicing. They're like practicing emizanyo. They have been even of them practicing how to sing like Ishtiwa cha Uganda and all that. So I know we have like a mini exhibition on that day still, and the kids are going to be performing. Many of them performing from their cultural parts where they rooted or they come from. So I know right now they are there practicing. They are there preparing for you guys. They want to you know that kind of school where you go and the kids have been practicing, they have been dancing, they have been like shaking and all that. So I've been seeing them. I went there, and then so I know that we are bringing out the culture aspect into the trainings of the things we are going to do on that day. We shall have games, we shall have so we shall have okubuka. So basically I know that whatever that we are planning and packaging for this is to bring in culture, tourism, and even mentorship for the kids. Yeah.
When you talk about all these activities that will be happening, then I'm wondering how do you is it a place that you hope to continue supporting, or you're going all out to do charity in different other places?
No, so I've worked with these kids for like 3-4 years. I've been supporting in advocacy, I've been supporting in recommending people, even bringing in people, because I know them. And right now I think my plan is to see that how can I go in with a more impactful mean. And I've noticed that I have a community of people that follow me, people that love what I do, people that love what I share, people that love Uganda, people that love Africa. And I think if I use that community of mine, I can easily get more help for these children. I can easily get more support for these children using my own community and the storytelling that I've been doing. Yeah.
As we get to the climax, what message do you have for Ugandans that would also want to use their milestones to impact community?
For Ugandans watching, first of all, I think you need to start small. Start where you are and start in that thing that you're doing right now. Whatever it is, you see that I'm using my skills, I'm using my talent, I'm using my voice, like God-given, you understand. I'm using these gadgets that we've found in this Gen Z era to see that I can make a slight change that I can. And I think you guys that are watching, wherever you are, you can create that change. Start small, just be purposeful and intentional in whatever that you're doing in your life. Yeah.
Be purposeful and intentional. Well, it would be selfish of me not to give you a chance. I saw your post and you told people, for sure, I will send you greetings.
Yeah.
I give you the opportunity to do that.
So, do they speak Luganda on UBC? That's the one thing. But yeah, you guys, mama ngenda mutumira mu Luganda, ntumirako mama wange omukyala Nankanja Agnes jayeyo nkimanyi alaba mutabani wali eno ku TV ze Kampala. Ntumirako baganda bange, ntumirako mikwano gyange, ntumirako mukwano gwa Mamita Juma Kairo ekimanyi jali atuninze in, ntumirako abantu bange aba Fiona Legacy Foundation, ntumirako abantu bonna benkola nabo olunaku lwali, ntumira mwenna aba social media abandaba tewali angamba nti simutumidde, ngambye kambatumire na mu Luganda era n'ensembyayo nga netumirako nze mwennyini ssennyonyidde liki.
Okay, well, thank you so much for that. You've heard that there's no way tourism will thrive if you don't add the human element. That was it from Senyonyi Derek. There's so much that he's doing, and if you're also into the tourism sector or any other sectors, don't forget about the human element or even charity. We are still on Good Morning Uganda, and coming in is Joanne Murungi with the business segment. Good morning.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Revered as the patrons of the wild, my horn stood tall, announcing my presence among Africa's big five. Yet, with all my strength, I struggled to survive. Then Uganda Wildlife Authority gave us something, a safe home at the Ziwa Rhino Sanctuary. And here we begin to thrive again. Today, we are 48 members strong, with 17 cows, ready to take our unique story into the future. This is your lifetime opportunity to name a rhino, and with it, find the conservation efforts that keep our story alive. For more information, visit our website, www.ugandawildlifeauthority.org.
Pick of the day on UBC.
He expected me to die like within the first 2 years.
Out of the blue, the child will get pains, especially in the wrists. And this happens commonly when children are starting to walk.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby dondolo.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000, or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Welcome back from GMU Tourism Express. Good morning for the second time. If you're just joining us, you're right in time for GMU Business. My name is Joanne Murungi. Yes, so no, we are going to look at what COMESA has for us and what Bank of Uganda is saying, the fact that Uganda is preparing to have the first oil. Let us commence with COMESA, and the non-tariff barriers have been identified as the biggest obstacle to unlocking horticulture exports in Eastern and South Africa. This was revealed at a regional forum in Entebbe, bringing together COMESA countries, government leaders, private sector players and development partners. Delegates said border delays, multiple certifications, and differing standards are draining the region's earnings. They noted that fresh produce often loses quality before reaching markets, leaving farmers with less income and exporters struggling to compete globally. The forum warned that unless these barriers are removed, the promise of the African Continental Free Trade Area will remain out of reach. And through the COMESA East African Agriculture Accelerator, a roadmap was unveiled to promote avocado, oilseeds, and Irish potatoes. These crops are expected to generate over $250 million and benefit from more than 450,000 smallholder farmers. Development partners, including GIZ, pledged financing, better cold chain logistics, and digital trade systems. Officials emphasized that success will be measured by higher farmer incomes, more jobs, improved food security, and a stronger share of African products in the $1.4 trillion global horticulture market. Moving away from the COMESA East Africa Horticulture Accelerator, Bank of Uganda has now engaged Uganda's media fraternity in sensitization drive of the Petroleum Revenue Investment Reserve. PRIR is a key savings and investment vehicle for the country's future oil revenues. As Uganda prepares for fast oil, the central bank says it is committed to transparency and proper management of petroleum earnings. As the government's banker, the Bank of Uganda manages all financial transactions with the petroleum industry. The goal is to ensure every shilling earned from oil is properly tracked, accounted for, and invested wisely. Uganda is in a critical window to establish robust oil revenue management systems ahead of the 2026 oil production timeframe. Public education and media collaboration to promote transparency and accountability is seen as essential. And to safeguard our oil wealth, Bank of Uganda will implement strategic risk management tools to shield the economy from market volatility and future economic shocks. At peak production, estimated at 230,000 barrels per day, Uganda could earn around $5.9 billion annually from oil exports. Now that was it from Bank of Uganda, and letting you know how the forex are trading as of 17th September 2025. The US dollar was buying at 3,495.09 and selling at 3,505.09. And by midday, it was buying at 3,494.95 and sold at 3,504.95. While it closed in at 3,495.05, that was for those who were buying it, and then sold at 3,505.05. While the Great Britain pound or Great British pound has sold at 4,785.64 and bought at 4,768.99. The euro was buying at 4,143.90 and sold at 4,155.76. And the Kenyan shilling bought at 27.05 and sold at 27.12. And from our neighbors, the Tanzanian shilling was buying at 1.41 and was selling at 1.41 still, while the South African rand was buying at 201.37 and selling at 201.94. Now that was it from our economic intelligence here at GMO Business. Coming up is the agenda. My name is Joanne M. Moronji. Good morning, Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, This is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
He expected me to die like within the first 2 years.
Out of the blue, the child will get pains, especially in the wrists. And this happens commonly when children are starting to walk.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together,
that as long as one has any underlying condition and feels unwell, just run to the hospital?
Yes, you do not have to wait. If you have any of the signs and symptoms like a body rash, a fever, headache, and body weakness, visit your nearest health facility immediately. We do not have to take any chances, my brother.
We need to immediately inform our peers in the club to be careful.
You see, with